So if anyone's wondering, we're actually standing next to each other. He's really that short. Like, if you've seen him before, if you've seen him in person, he's actually 5'2".
And just to prove to everybody that, yes, I do have a neck.
No, you don't.
It is there. As you can see, it's right there. However, like the turtle.
These updates that we've been doing have been incredibly popular. We've been getting a lot of messages, and the numbers that are associated to it,
Greeking it out,
generated by Facebook, don't, because the Greek will get on here and
sorry, Anthony,
start hollering at you. The numbers that we've been getting have been really impressive. So you guys that are watching, please let us know what it is that you like about these, so we can do more of that sort of stuff to enjoy it. So what do you want more of? Do you want us talking more about political issues or industry issues, or we're going to be talking a little bit tonight about marksmanship skills and long range shooting? Do you want more of that? Do you want inside information into the industry, whatever where we can give it? Let us know what you want to see more of. So tonight we're going to be talking, we've already spoken in the previous email.
Thanks, Reese.
So we're going to be talking about WAFTA, the West Australian Firearms Traders Association, and their social membership opportunities which have just opened up. We're going to be talking about the COVID-19 restrictions and the relaxing of them. We're going to be answering some questions from the last video that we did in relating to our Marksman course, our long range shooting, and some advice associated to that. So we'll jump straight into them. There was nothing else that you saw that we needed to answer? I asked him to look through this, and he pretended to.
No, I did. There was so many different comments, questions, stuff like that. You guys did really well. I think we actually answered quite a fair few of them, to be honest with you. And some of the big ones that you did ask about how you can support, help, and essentially change what's happening at the moment, where Zaine's going to get into in a bit to let you know how to actually go ahead and do that, especially with the WAFTA side of it. So while you're doing that, I'll just have a quick scroll through.
Okay, so I'll jump in and I'll talk about the WAFTA. We're not really central.
You don't need to be centre, mate. If you just hang over at that side there, keep that
I'll just hang out here a little bit.
If you just keep that edge nice and warm, that'd be great.
The West Australian Firearms Traders Association is an organisation that's made up by the industry members. So if you hold a firearm dealership or repair facility along those lines in the industry, you can be invited to join. Yeah, or you can apply to join. And so Beaton Firearms is a member, and a lot of the firearm dealerships around Perth, including Alexander's and Claremont's and the Shooter's Shed and Shooter's Shop down in Mandurah, are all members of the WAFTA. And certainly if you're shopping for goods, make sure you buy them from a WAFTA member, because they represent the industry, they invest in the future of the industry, and if you want to enjoy your sports into the future, a lot of that will be through the success of the WAFTA committee and their actions. So with this new restrictions that have come into place, the WAFTA has been strung into gear. The president and vice president of the WAFTA in particular, so the president being Bevan Steele, the vice president being Jason Dietrich, have really jumped into gear and done a lot of work behind the scenes to try and get everything into place for a really good strategy going forward. Now, if you're an associate member, there are certain things that you'll get as an advantage of your membership, but obviously we won't be talking about any strategy type stuff, and obviously you won't be allowed to vote in our elections and that sort of stuff, but you will be supporting the industry body, which will benefit all shooters. So definitely worthwhile doing that. If you want to join the WAFTA, then if you go to the WAFTA website, and you have to search for West Australian Firearms Traders Association, because if you search for WAFTA, it comes up with a textile association. So it's a Firearm Traders Association. You go to their webpage. On the first page, on the front page, if you scroll to the bottom, you can sign up for a membership there. Your application will go through. You don't immediately just get accepted. You can't just chuck your money in and get accepted. We will be reserve the right to be selective. We won't let everyone or just anyone join. But if you want to join, that is the way to do it. So, and we'll be posting more information about that up in the next few weeks. So whether you're a professional shooter, or you're in primary production, or you're a recreational hunter, or you're a sporting shooter, it's very important that you support the WAFTA, because they're the ones that are going to be supporting you in the long term. And that's not saying that you need to be a member of them and not members of other things as well, but certainly the WAFTA is one of the more proactive organisations, especially in WA. Okay, and we're very transparent about what we do when we can be, and there's a full list of members, and the committee guiding the WAFTA is on the homepage. So make sure you jump in and do that.
I don't know.
You're looking at some.
I just wanted to add something there. It doesn't. I don't know whether you covered it or not, but their membership fee. Whereabouts does their membership fee go if they pay it to go to WAFTA? Or if they paid it.
Okay, so if you apply to join WAFTA, if you're approved, then I'll send you out our banking details. It's $50 to join. You can donate more if you want, and 100% of your funds that you invest in the WAFTA, all of that goes into the fight. There's no administration fees. Because we're an industry body, all the representatives are industry members. We all volunteer our time, okay, to actually running the WAFTA itself. So I'm the secretary of the WAFTA. I donate all my time that I invest in is invested for free. It's at no charge. So the money that you put into the WAFTA, it's not going into administration fees or paying for people at this stage. We're still a relatively small organisation, so we don't draw any costs. All of it goes into fighting whatever fights we need to do. You know, the struggle that West Australian shooters are coming under, that investment goes directly into that. Okay. So, what did you want to talk about, or do you want me to talk still?
Yeah, go on, keep going.
All right. The next one we'll talk about is the restrictions relaxed. So you would have heard today that the COVID-19 restrictions on alcohol sales have been quashed, like they're gone. There's no restrictions on alcohol consumption anymore. So clearly, and alcohol is a big one. Like it's a big part of our social atmosphere, and a vast majority of people consume alcohol responsibly. But there's, in relation to, if you look at a large portion of the number of crimes that are committed out there, a huge percentage of them have alcohol as a factor, and that includes domestic violence and that sort of stuff, which was a lot of the reason why they quoted the need to shut down the firearms industry, was because of the increased risk of domestic violence and that escalating. So with the relax of the alcohol laws, purchasing alcohol laws, you would assume that along with that, they would relax the restrictions on firearm dealerships. They haven't done that yet. And so that's just another point of proof that this has nothing to do with any increased risk to public safety for the public. This is purely a political thing. Why
you no piss on
my lemon tree?
Don't know, Teddy.
Sorry, Teddy.
I'm not really sure what you're saying.
Why you kick my dog and calling me fuck off?
Most of the questions from our last live feed are just basically more into the VPF side of it. What constitutes a VPF, where they came up from with it.
So I'll just reiterate the point that I iterated in the last video, in that VPF stands for Very Powerful Firearm, and I'll always address it as Very Powerful Firearm, because I don't want to introduce any of this nonsense into the shooting lexicon. Very Powerful Firearm is not a term that exists in legislation. It doesn't exist anywhere. It's been invented by West Australian Police. The Very Powerful Firearm policy that they brought out, which was introduced by themselves, they wrote it and then introduced it. And so they're effectively, like I said in a post earlier today, they're effectively assuming the role of legislature. That policy effectively bans the licensing of anything bigger than 300 Win mag. 300 Win mag is the cutoff. Anything bigger that generates more energy than that at 300 meters is effectively banned, which is something they were specifically told in 2009, I believe it was, when they tried to ban .338 lapels. They were told you can't ban a particular caliber. they've gotten a way around it, not by banning it, but just making it basically impossible to license, which is sort of the same thing. So if you want anything bigger than a 300 Win Mag that generates more energy than 300 Win Mag at 300 yards or 300 metres, you won't get it, okay, in Western Australia right now. This is an argument, again, that the WAFTA is going to have with the police through hopefully some sort of consultation, which is what the consultation meetings are for, and that's why the industry body exists, for the police to consult with. There's a lot of experts within the firearms industry, within the WAFTA committee, which could converse with police licensing about this. So that's essentially what VPF is. Now, as far as the actual policy document goes itself, I'm not going to just, I will, if it gets to that, I will actually sit down and do a video with you guys and go over the actual policy itself. But we're still in conversations about that. Teddy, you know about as much about this as everyone else, so I'm not going to go into it in too much detail right now.
And Jeff, yes, they are still knocking back not every application that goes forward. Every application for a VPF, yes, but if you're talking about just every application in general now, no, there's still some that are going through. Primary producers, vets, eradication professionals, all that sort of stuff are still going through, we're being told.
But having said that, we had an application refused today where they provided all the information that the police requested, and they're a genuine primary producer, and the application was knocked back with the same cut and paste message that everyone was given. So it doesn't seem as though they're actually considering any applications, even based on their merits, which is what they claim they're doing when the answer was given in Parliament about that.
Well, that's a little bit disappointing then, isn't it?
It's disappointing is the word for it. You know, you're entrusted to perform a duty as a government employee, and you're not doing that, then it is certainly disappointing would be the word. You've got all this potential and this expectation placed upon you, and you're failing the community, essentially.
Nathan's asked a good one there. So can they knock back a VPF if it is supported for club use?
Okay, so...
Which we did cover. No, actually, I'm going to get your take on it again.
Okay, so a VPF for club use, their claim is that no club in WA could support a VPF anyway, and you don't need a VPF for doing club shooting because you can just use smaller targets and put them closer. You don't need to put them further away.
Is what they've said. And
this is what ties in with the Ella station wanting to extend their range and that sort of stuff. The police say it's unnecessary because you can just use smaller targets and put them closer, which is an incredibly naive, ignorant thing to say. It'd be like, and I made the connection earlier today, and I don't know if you think it's applicable or not, but it'd be like the 24-hour Le Mans or whatever it is race, then saying you don't need to do that anymore. We're just going to make it, you're going to have to drive in go-karts around a 100-metre track, and it's just going to go for an hour.
It's called the Daewoo Matiz.
Yeah.
24-hour now, because nobody needs to drive anything faster than that.
No, that's it. Just make the track shorter.
Yeah, make the track shorter.
Yeah.
It's a load of shit. It really is. They've come up with this, if it's not an Olympic sport or if it doesn't have world championships, then why do we need to do it? It's fuck.
Well, there is world championships associated with long range shooting. It's the King of 2 Miles. It's a world championship.
Yeah, so they've got their facts wrong.
Straight away. They're given these guidelines to enforce the legislation, and even then they're ignoring sections of legislation. So it's, yeah.
Yeah, and yes, Jeff, at the moment, if you've got a pistol down at Steelo's, I believe they're not entertaining any applications for club use at the moment, so I highly doubt whether you'll get it through. You'll just have to wait. Hopefully with these alcohol restrictions being lifted, it means that we're not far off, but there's no promises with that either, so...
Yeah. So we've spoken about the WAFTA, relaxing the restrictions, and hopefully they'll extend through to firearms licences as well. We've spoken about... we've answered some of the questions from the last one.
Yep.
And so I just wanted to touch on a couple of issues. I want to touch on a couple of questions that have been sent through in the last week in relation to long-range shooting and marksmanship skills and stuff like that. So for the people that don't know, I'm going to be I'm going to be doing a completely unashamed ad. We do marksmanship and long-range courses here at Beaten Firearms. Now, they have been put on hold for the meantime while this pandemic, whatever it is that we're in, is ending. And once that's ended, then we'll reopen them again. The first one we're going to do is a marksman course, because that was actually due to be done last weekend or weekend before.
A couple of weekends ago, yeah.
So we're going to be doing that first, and then we're doing long-range courses. And so the question was asked, someone was asked specifically about VPFs during the week and 338s in particular. And they said, look, what's the licensing status, etc., etc. And I said, look, and they were in another state. And so I couldn't answer their question anyway, because I don't know what the restrictions are over there. But I know in Queensland, it's pretty much open slather. But the question was in relation to the licensing, but I pointed out, look, I can't help you with the licensing. I can teach you how to use it, but and they said, okay, I appreciate that. Thanks very much. Have you got any advice for a new shooter? For someone that's just licensed their first high power? And I said, yeah, I have got some advice for you. So, and this is advice that I give most people that come in here that want to get into long range shooting. The first piece of advice that I give is to get a good ballistic app. Now, there's a lot of ballistic apps out there which you can buy for free, like Strelok and that sort of stuff. And they're good, but they'll only get you so far, like everything that's free. Now, the Applied Ballistic app, the science that's behind it makes it the most accurate app on the market at the moment. So if you want accurate ballistic calibration out to a long range, then the Applied Ballistic app is one of the best is the best on the market. So if you want a good app, buy that one. I think it's like $40, $50 or something on the App Store, and it is worth every cent of that long term. Now, if you don't want to buy it straight away, then you can buy one of the other ones, and it'll get you going. But definitely look at that as a investment down the track. So that's the first piece of advice. The second piece of advice, and I've got three. The second piece of advice is sight your gun in correctly. And that means that your gun has to hit exactly on the point of aim at an exact distance. Now, it doesn't matter exactly what the distance is. It matters that you know exactly what that distance is. Okay? So, not 99, not 101, 100 metres. If you want to sight your gun in at 100 metres, you sight it in at exactly 100 metres. Now, how do you measure that? You measure it from the adjustment turret on the scope, because that's where you make your adjustments from. You don't measure it from the end of the barrel, you do it from the adjustment on the scope itself. So once you know your zero distance, now your zero distance might be something weird like 92 metres. It's not important. If you're using a good ballistic app, you can put that in. It's just important that you know exactly how far it is, because a little variation at short range, if you're a metre out at short range, that equates to a very big difference at long range. So make sure you know exactly how far your gun is sighted in for. And the third piece of advice is know exactly how far you are shooting, and exactly how far you're shooting, not close. So if you're shooting at 542 metres, you need to know that you're shooting at 542 metres, not 540, not 560 or 530. It has to be exact. So get yourself a good rangefinder or some other method of knowing exactly how far away you're shooting. Now, rangefinders are the easiest way to do that. You can try and rough it in by using Google Maps. That'll give you a pretty close estimate. You can use a mil reticle if you've been trained to use a mil reticle, if you can work out the maths behind it. It's not hard. You can find any number of websites that'll show you how to do it. You can use a mil reticle, but even a mil reticle, it's usually only going to get you in within about 10 metres, yeah? But that's much better than guessing. Guessing has a range of about 50 metres, yeah? You'll get it smack on sometimes, but you won't other times, and you'll get it off. So it's 50 metres for guessing, 10 metres for mil reticle, and usually you can get it within a metre if you're running a good rangefinder. So they're my three bits of advice.
Don't go and buy a golf one and expect it to work out to 700-800 metres. That's just not what happens.
No.
It's just not designed for that. Get one that's actually designed for the distance that you want to shoot, and even further, because remember that the distance that it tells you that it's good for is only on a, for lack of a better word, highly reflective surface.
Yeah, reflective target.
So if it says 1,600 metres and you're shooting 1600 metres, but it's, say, onto an animal, well, it's obviously not going to have the reflection that it needs off of, say, a steel target. So just remember that. Keep that in mind as well.
Yep. And everyone's different, but usually it's about, in my experience, around 60 to 75% of its estimated value is what it'll actually range out to. So if you've got like a 1600, like a mile rangefinder on a non-reflective target, like 1200 metres max. Yeah.
What was your third one? Are we up to 3 yet?
Yeah, that was 3.
Oh, was number 3?
Yeah, so good ballistic app. Know exactly your distance to target. Know exactly the distance that you're sighted in at.
Perfect.
Yeah. So, and then we want to talk about the Marksman course.
Yeah.
Okay, so the long range course is the exact course that I was running from when I purchased precision shooting from the previous owner, Glenn. So when I purchased it, I run his courses. There was also another course that was written in there, wasn't completed by the looks of it. Maybe I had an earlier version or something, but the Marksman course that I run was in there as well. And I've sort of added a bit of flour and whatnot from my experience in shooting onto the edges of it.
Just sort of flesh.
What's your ideal rangefinder? There's a lot out there.
What's your one?
Just write that down.
That's only from Teddy anyway.
Yeah. Why use a Vextronics? But, you know, it depends on how much money you want to spend. But we've got loophole rangefinders here on the shelf that'll do a mile. Let's give him a few cranes again to explain that again. Yeah. So the Marksman course is something that I've been adding a bit onto, and certainly things have changed in the market, what people want in regards to their marksmanship skills. So the basic marksmanship skills, which I actually did a presentation on at the SHOT Show a couple of years ago. The basic marksmanship skills are like the bedrock of the program itself, yeah? And you have to have them in place. Doesn't matter what kind of shooting you do, you need to have your basic marksmanship skills in place, yeah? But from there, we've extended onto it, and it's really become something that anyone who's interested in practical style shooting, you know, so we're shooting over, we're shooting off the ground, we're shooting off improvised rests and bipods and that sort of stuff.
Sitting, standing, kneeling.
Exactly. Those sorts of skills are what we teach in the marksmanship course. And then we also go into advanced marksmanship in regards to the finer points of breathing control and that sort of stuff. We also do rimfire shooting and shotgun shooting, which is different again. And we touch on long range shooting, but we only go out to about 300 or 400 meters. Yeah, it's a very basic external ballistics. Most of what the marksmanship course is about hitting targets at shorter ranges. Consistently. But if you listen to what the police says, there's no difference between shooting something at long range and shooting something smaller at short range anyway. Well, so really I should just have one course. There'd be no reason for me to have 2 different courses.
That's right. All we've got to do is make the targets smaller.
Just put them closer and make them smaller.
So what we might do on the next long range course, if you guys just want to, you know, whoever signs up for that one, just to prove the police are correct, what we'll do is we'll just use smaller calibers, so 17 HMR, something like that. We'll just bring the targets a little bit closer, make them a little bit smaller, and yeah, you should get the same benefits of it.
So that's what's in the Marksman course. So if you're definitely interested in more of that PRS style shooting, if you're interested in developing your marksmanship skills, so if maybe you want to tighten your group up, if you want to get into bench rest shooting,
what happened to the screen?
The blue filter comes on at 6 o'clock.
Oh, right.
So now I've got no blue light on my phone.
Yeah.
Blue light kills melatonin production, which melatonin is what you need to make you feel sleepy.
It went from, I was actually quite enjoying that, to now I can see all the hair that's sticking up off my head and stuff like that. So, yeah, sorry about that, guys. Didn't notice that.
You're a little bit pasty anyway.
Pasty.
All right. Cool. So that's the marksmanship course. So we've spoken a bit about long range.
If you do want to go on the marksmanship course, it's pretty simple. You just give us a call here at the shop or email us. We can tell you what dates they run. We do tend to run more long range courses than marksman courses, which is...
That's just based on popularity.
Yeah, what people want.
But we had a full course.
Yeah.
Marksman course. Has anyone pulled out?
No. So most of the time we actually do fill the marksman course. So make sure you get in. We'll get you on there. It's probably it's a really good 2 days. You'll learn a heap, which is fantastic. That's what everybody wants to come out and do. Thanks, Dirk. Yeah, you won't be disappointed. That's right. You get to hang out with me and Zaine for 2 days, which is...
So we've got 1 or 2 spots left on the Marksman course when we run it. Thanks, dude. Yeah. So we've got one or 2 spots left on the Marksman course if you want to go on that course. We haven't got a date set for it yet.
But same with the long range courses, we do the same thing. Look, generally about once a month we run them. That's the plan.
6 times in 6 months.
Yeah.
Although we probably won't run them in like November, December this year like we did last year because
it's just too hot.
Yeah.
It's just too hot. You sit there.
Well, the facilities are much better than what they were a year ago.
Well, that's true. That's true.
But 42 degrees out there
it's not fun.
It's nuts.
It's just not fun. Can you swag it? Yes, you can swag it. I highly recommend swagging it.
So we actually ran a corporate event out there, and the corporate event, all the guys that went out there, we actually got some feedback from them, and basically none of them, like we talked about building chalets out there and all that sort of stuff, and none of them wanted us to do that. Everyone's like, I bought a swag and I get to use it once a year, so I'm going to sleep in a swag. And it doesn't rain out there all that often, so like, because it is out east. So.
When it does rain, it pisses down.
Yeah.
But hey, look,
but that's usually February. Yeah?
If you've ever slept in a swag while it's raining, it's one of the best sleeps you'll ever have. It's fantastic.
But yeah, definitely, if you want to come out and bring your swag, highly encourage it. You know, during the cooler years, months. So obviously not November.
Good one, Phil.
November through to yeah. But now I've got a job where people pay me to hang out with me, Phil. So, but yeah, definitely come out and swag it. We'll usually have a fire out there.
Yep. The other side of it is we do, and funnily enough, we've had these questions before. What happens when it rains out there? You get your rifle out and you shoot. There's no such thing as pussing off and going,
it never rains for that long. Like, if it does rain, it's only like a few sprinkles.
If it is raining, howling... Look, the only time we'll put them away is if there's a bit of lightning. But, hey, you got to shoot in these conditions, so you got to learn to shoot in these conditions. There's no point
it's just
driving all the way out there and going, oh, no, I don't really want to. We have had one guy turn up for about 3 hours and went home because of the flies.
That wasn't a paying customer to, it was a, someone was an industry member was invited out there,
Yeah.
And unfortunately I couldn't be out there for when I got out there late and he had already left.
So that was pretty funny. You know who who I'm talking about. You're probably watching this right now.
Probably not.
No, you're probably not. You've probably got better things to do than watch us. But anyway, yeah, that's why you sell gun oil. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
So rain, like humidity, is part of what we factor in when we do long range shooting. It's an atmospheric condition that we factor in. If you happen to be out there and we're doing shooting in a high humidity situation, like when it's raining or something like that, you're actually quite lucky. A lot of people don't get to factor that in and see what kind of effect it has on bullet flight.
Just as a quick question on that though, if it is raining,
do your bullets go higher
or lower? Here we go. That's an answer for you.
We probably should have asked that at the start, because then people could put their answers in.
Well, that's true, but I tell you what, the first person to answer me correctly on this feed right now, I'll give them a precision shooting hat.
We might be waiting a while.
That's all right.
What happens? How long are we going to... Yeah, it's fine. How long are we going to be here before someone comes in?
So, no. We've had plenty of people going our course that are watching right now, and they should have remembered it.
No. No.
Don't
They're going to be here for ages.
Don't tell
Make
them the
some
answer.
shit lower. No.
Don't tell them the answer. That's the best part. It has to be right. Huger, Mark. Huger. You want to spell it correctly next time, mate?
No. Give those two guys. Give those two guys.
Hang on.
Mark Griffin and Kevin Lowe.
Mark Griffin and Kevin Lowe. Give us a ring tomorrow.
We'll have a hat for you.
And I'll have a hat for you.
Jason Spencer, same. No.
I'll have to...
All right, so those guys, I'll explain why it doesn't.
Hang on, who was it?
Kevin Lowe.
Kevin Lowe.
And Mark Griffin.
Mark Griffin.
So, right, when you're shooting through...
Yes, you are, Paul.
Yeah. So when you're shooting, there's a certain amount of humidity in the air. Yeah,
I'll cook your sausage.
But think about what's in the air. There's the main component of air that we're breathing in right now. The main two components, if you like. One's nitrogen, which makes up 70% of the air, and the other one is oxygen, which makes up about 21% of the air. So that's the vast majority of what you're breathing in right now is actually nitrogen.
Thanks, Mark.
And a bit of oxygen. And
it was awesome.
So if you look at those two molecules, what they are either two nitrogen atoms stuck together or two oxygen atoms stuck together. And they've got an atomic weight of, I think, about 56 or something like that.
Something above the top.
And they get bigger and smaller. And so they got an atomic weight of about 56, yeah? 52 to 56. Now, if we've got water molecules, same at 10 metres.
Same at 10.
No, you're right, Jace.
That's the best answer.
So, but if you consider water, the percentage of water that's in the air that's displacing these other molecules, as the percentage goes up, you get more water in the air, yeah? Now, a water molecule is one oxygen and two hydrogen hanging off it, yeah? So it's got an atomic weight of, 16 or something, or 14 or 16. So it's actually a water molecule in the air, as a gas in the air, is actually much easier for the bullet to push through than the ordinary oxygen and nitrogen that's in the air. So when you're firing in a high humidity situation, your bullets actually have less resistance against them and they shoot higher. So the lower the humidity, the more resistance, and then the lower they shoot.
Now, if you want to learn more about that, that's why you've got to get yourself on a long-range course.
So, well, that's...
can you imagine that? That's part of our theory section.
That's actually... humidity has the least... out of all the atmospheric conditions, and there's 4 of them, humidity actually has the least effect. So the difference between 0 and 100% humidity is, I think it's only about 1.4% of your total value. Yeah. So it's actually only small, but it is an error. It's something in that, and we can measure it. So we put it in there because it doesn't make a big difference at short range, but it makes a big difference at long range. Yeah. And the other thing is that if you're not accounting for humidity, the error that humidity has on the bullet, you're going to factor that into another variable and actually mess up your calculation. So it's important that you put it in there.
And the Applied Ballistics app has that part.
Yeah, it asks for it in Applied Ballistics for a reason.
Free hat. I'm liking that.
Cool.
Anyway, right, so...
all right, everyone's gone, everyone's having dinner. We've dropped down to about 70 people are watching us live now. We're up over 100.
Yep, so what I want, last one in, is...
don't make me do more work.
Yep, going to do more work. So, what we want to know...
Yet Zaine is still explaining to someone that needs a picture.
Yep. Now...
No, just do the course, Mark.
He is.
Oh, Mark, yeah. He was on the last course.
He was. All right, so...
Steelo.
As our finishing up of this video, obviously we want to do some more for you. So, in the comments
the
below,
precision shooting hat's already gone, mate. You can't win one now. You'll have to log in next time.
I'll tell you what, Steelo, I'll sell you one. Now.
He's probably got an original one. He's probably got...
Anyway, let me finish what I'm saying. Now, we want to do some more of these videos for you. It's obvious that you guys are enjoying them. So, in the comments... write down what you want to see. Just give us a list as you're watching it. Doesn't matter if you watch it tomorrow. Just put down what you want to see and we'll start doing content as you want to see it. That means that we are doing exactly what you guys want to watch.
It's quite obvious that you want more videos, yeah? Because our videos are getting far more views than anything that we put up, except maybe 1 or 2 memes, yeah?
Yeah.
Memes go off, but the videos are really, really popular. So it's obvious that people want that. So definitely let us know what you want to see.
That will become an
associate member again.
Onto the WAFTA site, WA Firearms Traders Association. Go to that website. Do not just type in WAFTA.
It's wafirearmtraders.com.
It'll take you to some Chinese porn or something.
No, it takes you to the textile.
Oh, the textiles.
Yeah,
that's
textile
right.
Association.
And that's how you become a member.
More Bill would throw out 3.
It'd be good if he was at work.
Yeah, he's out the farm actually, watering sheep.
thank you very much for watching again, guys. We really appreciate the support that you guys have been throwing towards us.
Let us know. We're still here 5 days a week, yeah? So we're not here on Saturdays at the moment, but we're still here during the week.
Yep.
So if you need anything, let us know.
You guys happy with a Monday and a Friday? Let us know if you want us to do a Friday video as well. That can be
Or
something
Wednesday.
Friday, whatever. Another night. But let us know.
After dark.
After dark, where we can have
A couple of people got sooky about us eating chips and drinking beer, so we might swap it up for cigars and whiskey.
Just so you all know, just when we were drinking the beer, yes, the shop is closed and all the firearms are locked away.
And there is nothing in legislation that prevents the consumption of alcohol in firearms. You can't be intoxicated, which we clearly weren't.
Beautiful scenery.
Beautiful scenery.
It was fun.
All right. Cheers, guys.
Thanks, guys. Have a good night.